Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and we have to talk about something pretty important. This issue connects to the biggest news story of the past few weeks, obviously, the Epstein files. The latest round of 3 million documents have brought to light some very disturbing details and also a variety of different connections and names throughout our politics, throughout our entertainment industries. Some of those mentions have been less corroborated and legitimate than others, like the redacted FBI hotline mention of Jay-Z and Pusha T that mostly had me scratching my head. But this other recent occurrence that is much more damning is turning a lot of heads in the music industry. And that would be the name of one Casey Wasserman showing up in the files numerous times. Now, if you're the average music fan who's totally on the outside of the music industry, this is a name that might not ring any bells for you. But Casey's name sits atop one of the biggest talent agencies in all of sports and music. Austin will put up a screenshot right here of like the never-ending roster of the Wasserman agency. And hey, guess what? I'm on the roster too. And this is obviously not a good look for all of them, us. Like, nobody wants to be connected to any of this. The contexts in which Casey's name turns up, it mostly seems to be through a series of very direct and also, in part, romantic interactions with Maxwell, though his name does also appear on the flight log of this early 2000s trip to Africa that involved not only Epstein's plane, but Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey were in the mix too. But look, even if Wasserman's connections to this whole thing mostly ended with Ghislaine and whatever relationship he had with her for whatever period of time, as Bethany Cosentino of Best Coast recently cited in a recent statement on this very thing, Ghislaine is not a neutral figure in this. She wasn't just like, some innocent person caught up in the madness of Jeffrey's trafficking ring. She was literally directly involved in pretty much every way a person could be. I mean, she is literally the only person who has gone to prison in connection with all of this since Epstein's death. And I mean, given what we know and what has come to light, she shouldn't be. There should be many more people who are on trial for this right now. But look, given what evidence and information has come out in the midst of all of this, if Jeffrey was like the worst guy at the very top of everything that was happening, Ghislaine is like second in command. So I'm sorry, even if Wasserman's connections to all of this basically stopped at that point, that doesn't absolve him from the fact that this coming to light is terribly detrimental to everyone his company represents. And I do want to stress, it's a company. It's a very massive organization with, once more, an almost infinite roster. And there's a lot of good people over at this company doing great work every day. And there are a lot of small, underground, mid-tier musicians whose livelihoods may depend on deals that have been inked, agreements that have been had, contracts that have been signed, connections that have been made while being on the roster at this company. And they don't deserve any of the blowback they might get from being a part of this. They don't deserve to feel like anything that they're doing in their careers is contributing to this in any form or fashion, which is why personally, I very much echo Bethany's call in her public statement on this, because again, why should any of the amazing artists who are on this roster, who may be locked into agreements here for the foreseeable future, feel any kind of responsibility or connection or in part contribution to this madness? Because at the end of the day, they didn't ask for this. They were making what they thought was a wise professional decision, and then had to find out that this company that's supposed to be representing them faithfully and positively is now blemished due to what has come to light here. But yes, insane, shocking, disappointing, and that really doesn't even describe the half of it. I'm not really sure what else to add past this point, outside of, again, there needs to be a change here. And broadly across our government, across our society, there needs to be widespread accountability for all of this. Also, I'm growing increasingly disgusted with much of the mainstream media, at least the parts of it that have been so incredibly silent on a lot of these files dropping. I understand maybe it's a lot of emails, it's a lot of things to cover, it's a lot of information, but again, the lack of accountability and coverage here is shocking.